Hey guys, welcome to episode 6 of Cooking Around the Planet, the show where we cook a recipe from every single country until we've done them all. If you're new here, I'm Austin, that's my wife Jess, and as always, the star of the show, Otto Reeves. We're happy to have you here. Jess and I, and even Otto, share a love for travel, food, and learning about new cultures, and that's what this show is all about. So welcome in. Last week we had the opportunity to try ostrich for the first time thanks to the cuisine from Eswatini. So if you missed that episode, please go back and check it out. But like always, with no time to waste, we move forward to this week. And as soon as we started researching for this country, the brain waves started firing. The taste buds were ready to hit the dance floor, which is the thought of a recipe from this place. We're super excited. We were back on this side of the world 2 weeks ago when we covered Guatemala. We're heading a little south to a country called Honduras. So grab a notepad or just sit back and relax. Let's get right into it. We have 2 recipes on tap for tonight that we are so excited about. One of the recipes we will be cooking tonight is Baleadas, which is a flour tortilla stuffed with refried beans, sour cream, and cheese. And you can also add eggs, avocado, chorizo if you want. We're gonna actually make our own flour tortillas, which is something I've wanted to do for so long. I've always heard that's the best way if you want a really good flour tortilla. Skip the store, make them yourself. They're so much better. So super pumped about that. And also we will be making, bear with me, sopa de capirotada. Good?
Sounds good to me.
Hey. This is a soup made with a bunch of fresh vegetables, but the part that makes this soup unique is we're gonna be making a corn flour with cheese dumpling and fry that. We're gonna add it to the soup. I mean, you had me at fry, right? So, without wasting any more time, because we got a lot to prep, we got a lot to cook, I'm gonna send it over to Jess to introduce you to the beautiful country of Honduras.
All right, we are in Honduras, or the official name, the Republic of Honduras, with a population of 10.4 million people and located in Central America. It is wedged between Guatemala and El Salvador to the west and Nicaragua to the south and east. The northern coastline is about 430 miles long and touches the Caribbean Sea, and the small southern coastline is only 95 miles long on the Gulf of Fonseca, which opens up to the Pacific Ocean. Honduras is mostly mountains, with 80% of the country being mountainous. There are actually 2 capitals in Honduras. One of them is Comayagüela, and the other capital is Tegucigalpa. There are about 99 islands that belong to Honduras. One of them, Rotan, you may have heard of. It's a popular cruise ship destination and is the most populated island in the country. Between these 99 islands, you will find the Mesoamerican Reef System, which actually stretches 700 miles starting from the Yucatan Peninsula down through the Honduran Bay Islands. The reef is the largest barrier reef in the Western Hemisphere and is the 2nd largest barrier reef in the world, next to the Great Barrier Reef in Australia.
All right, first we're gonna make our sopa de capirotada. The first step to that is we're gonna make our dumpling, which consists of queso fresco, some corn flour, not cornmeal, corn flour, really finely grated, some lukewarm water, 1 egg, and a little bit of salt. So, pretty simple how this all comes together. We're gonna go in with 1 cup of corn flour, 1 cup of queso fresco, which you can find this any of your grocery stores. It comes in a big brick like that, and then you just break it apart with your hands and it turns into this finely grated type of consistency. So, go in with our salt, 1 egg, Thank you, Dan, our neighbor. Always provides us with a ton of eggs, thanks to his chickens. Before we add the water, we're just gonna mix this up with our hands. Get everything kind of merged here. First one of the episode.
We have entered the merging lane.
That's right. All right, let's add some water. We don't want to add it all at once. Probably about a half a cup is all you're gonna need, but add a little bit at a time. And you're gonna start to feel the dough come together.
So what is the consistency that we're looking for with this?
Pretty much like you would if you were making some, almost like pizza crust. You know, there's no, you can see it coming together a little bit now.
Yeah.
But we need to add a little bit more water. And if you do add too much water, that's okay. You can just add a little more flour. All right. That was about probably five minutes.
Yeah, I'd say 5 minutes.
Yeah, probably 5 minutes of kneading it. Turns into this real nice dough ball. Before we cut this up, we come over here. We got some oil, I'd say about 1/2 inch deep. Got it on, you don't want it too hot, but you want it hot enough to fry something. If you fried something before, you know how your stove works. If you haven't, take a little piece off, drop it in there. If you drop a little piece in there and nothing happens, probably too low. If you drop it in there and it's just going crazy, too high. So find that middle ground, and always drop in and test it first, especially if you're not familiar with frying. But all right, we're gonna flatten them out, kind of like little patties almost. We have our corn and cheese dumplings ready. We're just gonna drop this in there and see. I'd say that's pretty perfect. These have been cooking for about 3 minutes. Just checked them and they look ready to flip. Oh yeah. 1 second, get out of your way. Golden brown, golden Tate. Yeah, they look like little donuts.
Yeah, they do.
Put some sugar on them and just, smells really good too.
Yeah, it smells great.
You hungry? You hungry?
Hungry, bud? Are you hungry? Let's go. Hungry? Let's go. Good.
Alrighty, we're gonna set those to the side. Don't get rid of your oil, we'll be using that pretty soon.
Honduras got their official name from Christopher Columbus when he arrived in 1502 and claimed the territory. Honduras translates to Great Depths in Spanish, named after the deep waters off the coast. Honduras was originally inhabited by many indigenous tribes, the most powerful of them being the Mayans, which we talked about in Guatemala. Many Mayan sites still exist to this day, including the Maya site of Copan, which is said to be the most spectacular of all Mayan sites, built at a time where the Mayan sculptures were at its most artistic expression. This site was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1980. Honduras gained independence from Spain in 1821. The country was then briefly annexed to the Mexican Empire. 1823, Honduras joined the new United Provinces of Central America Federation, which collapsed in 1838. Since then, the country has been independent and had been mostly military ruled until 1980 when a new constitution was formed. Since then, a democratic transition has been underway. The United States is Honduras' chief trading partner. U.S. and Honduran trade is dominated by the Honduras maquila industry, which imports yarn and textiles from the United States and then exports finished articles of clothing. Other Honduran exports to the United States includes coffee, banana, seafood, particularly shrimp, minerals including lead, gold, zinc, and silver, and many other fruits and vegetables.
So after you take your dumplings out, don't get rid of your oil. You want to discard about probably 3/4 of it, but leave yourself some so you can saute some vegetables. We got some onions, some green pepper, we have tomatoes, celery, and cilantro. We're gonna throw all in here. Start with the onions first and the bell peppers. You don't have to cut them up super fine. You want them kind of chunky for the soup. Now we're gonna add our tomatoes and celery and cilantro. Now, should have mentioned, had some water boiling in a large pot, had about halfway full. And we're gonna add our veggies right to that. Just be careful. Right in like that. We're gonna add some paprika. We're going with some cumin, some garlic powder. Realized when I started prepping, I already had been to the store, that I had no garlic in the house. Super, super rare for us.
Very rare.
Garlic powder will do the job tonight. Add a little salt, pink as always. A little pepper. I'm gonna bring that up to a simmer. So, things are about to get a little weird when it comes to soups. We're gonna thicken this soup up with some corn flour, and then we're gonna add ketchup, Worcestershire, and mustard for the flavor. But first, we got about 2 cups of water. We're gonna add 2 tablespoons of corn flour. Make sure it all dissolved in there real good. 1 tablespoon ketchup, 1 tablespoon Worcestershire. An interesting condiment, Worcestershire. Where did that name come from?
Who named this?
Change it. Make it easier for all of us.
I like it. It's fun to hear different people's renditions.
And mustard. Interesting.
So interesting.
All right. If you have a strainer, we're gonna strain this into the soup. I don't think that it just went right. I didn't strain anything out of it, so I don't think the strainer's that necessary.
You strained it, but was anything strained?
I'm gonna mix that in there. And that should thicken things up a little bit. All right, final step to the soup is adding these right into the soup. So, that's got to simmer for about 15-20 minutes. I'm gonna send it over to Jess with some fun facts about Honduras.
So while reading about Honduras, something very interesting came up. They have this thing that happens every year, sometimes in May or June, called the Rain of Fish. Everywhere I was seeing were these articles claiming that fish just rain down from the sky. So of course I did some investigating, dug a little deeper. Turns out the fish don't fall from the sky, but massive thunderstorms form in Lloro, Honduras, bringing so much rain that the town often floods, pelting the region with heavy rain for hours. When the locals emerge, there are fish everywhere. This has been going on since the 1800s. And while there are many theories, no one has a full understanding of why this happens. Among all of the theories I read, which included waterspouts forming and dropping the fish in this town, God blessing the town with this fish. The more people have gone and studied, it seems like massive floods caused the rivers to overflow, depositing fish into the streets and into fields where they would not typically see these types of fish. Many vlogs that I watched really highlighted this rain of fish. It's pretty cool. The people in the town really get super excited about this whole phenomenon, and they spend the whole day going around and collecting fish, picking up fish, and making it something really fun and a novelty thing to celebrate.
All right, while the soup is finishing up, we are gonna start the prep for our baleadas. And the first step to that is making a flour tortilla, which we're super excited about. Always wanted to do this. So, start with 3 cups of flour. And this is just regular all-purpose flour. Go in with a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of baking powder, and 3 tablespoons of oil. 1, 2, 3. And lastly, a cup of lukewarm water. We're gonna add this slowly, just like we did with the dumplings. Starting to come together. In a second here, we're actually going to take it out. All right, put it on a clean surface, and we're just going to work this for about 5 minutes. You want to get it super, super soft. So it's got a bit of a ways to go. All right, it was about 10 minutes in kneading. Got it nice and soft. One, put a little oil on your hands. I guess from what I was seeing, you kind of fold it over a little bit on the bottom. That might be too small. Well, we'll do that one. No.
First attempt at making flour tortillas, and you're doing it on camera and also for our dinner. Pressure's on.
So they kind of go like, make like a little indentation first, and then seem to fold it over, I think. And then kind of. All right, we got them all formed. Now we are going to spread them out. This is a technique that I saw. There's a couple different ways you can do it. This one seemed to be the most achievable. So we're first gonna kind of spread it out as much as we can with our thumbs here. So far, so good.
I feel like your thumbs were built for this.
And then, it's like making a pizza we were just talking about. A lot of similarities. Assuming you want to get this as thin as possible. Uh-oh, a little tearage. All right, we're gonna turn our pan up to about a medium heat. Don't want it super hot, but you want it, yeah, I'd say medium.
What are your predictions? Bold prediction.
Well, so far it's not as big as, the ones I've seen, but that's okay. So far it's looking like the videos I was watching. There's a little bit of a hole there. See if we can kind of patch that up. First tortilla. Going down. A little hotter than I wanted it to be, but we'll hope that it still works out. I like that noise. Didn't sound super hot.
Yeah, sounds promising.
So we're looking for like bubbles to pop up before we flip it.
How do you feel?
I feel good. It's exciting. Oh.
Does it look like a tortilla? What?
I want to cook it a little longer though, but that still happy about it.
I wonder if it's gonna be stretchy like a tortilla.
I think that probably the better I get at like getting them super thin, and really what they use is more like a griddle. It's flatter, so you can, we don't have to go down in there like that, and you can get more surface area. It's bigger, make a bigger one. But we'll see. Once they cool down, they say when you take them off, stack them on top of each other so the moisture from each one kind of keeps them moist. Yes, sir. All right.
Wow.
We're gonna go with Jess's. I think yours looks the best, actually.
Thank you.
Look how that comes right off. That's what we were looking for.
That sizzle.
I actually thought the pan was too hot, and it actually wasn't hot enough, so. Perfect. This one out. This is Jess's. Best one yet, by far.
Call me Miss Tortilla.
Look at the size of that thing. So the term Baleada translates to shot in English, and there's a few theories on how it got that name. One is pretty wild. Supposedly, the lady that created the Baleada was serving him at a stand one day and got shot, killed, maybe only injured. The story's a little iffy there. So after that, it was named Baleada. The second theory, the one that people more agree on, is so the creator, who is still alive today, Donna Terry, says that the name is just a food metaphor. She said the beans are the bullets, the grated cheese is the powder, and the tortilla is the cartridge. That's pretty cool. Okay, a piece of this is refried beans, which we have never made before. I've actually never been sure how they've been made my whole life. I was like, well, they're probably fried and then fried again. So, looked up the recipe, pretty simple. We got some small red beans from the store. Red is what they use in Honduras for their refried beans. We boiled these in some water with 1/4 of an onion and garlic powder. Obviously, if you have regular garlic, throw that in there as well, just whole. And then what we're gonna do, this could get weird, we're gonna blend it. We drain it first of the water, because these beans hold a lot of water. Let it cool off before you do this. There's still a little steam, but these are way cooler than they were when they first got off the stove. We're gonna blend it down into pretty much a liquid. It's all pasty. So I was wrong about the liquid. Don't drain the beans completely, because you want a little bit of liquid in there. I thought there'd be plenty coming from at least a little bit that was still down in there, but it was more pasty. You want a little more liquid, so I just added about 1/2 cup of water, and we are good to go. Okay. This is the consistency that I've been seeing, just like refried beans look. So before we do anything further, we have a pan that's hot. Throw some oil on it. We're actually gonna fry these beans. It's in the name. Whoa.
This is awesome. Ocean's paradise right here.
Yeah, this is my favorite type of food by far. So any type of Latin American food, sign me up. I'll be a member any day of the week. Let me try to do this like this. Here we go. Sorry, getting in the way of the shot. But pretty wild, huh? Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
When I saw a video, I'm like, really? That's how it's done? That's awesome. And then we just do this here. And folks, we have refried beans for $1.89. Fresh, no additives, no preservatives. One last thing, we're gonna make our crema Honduran style. Take a cup of sour cream,
A dollop of daisy, if you will.
a dollop of daisy, and a half a cup of heavy whipping cream. And lastly, a little bit of salt. So this type of sour cream they use, they actually, if you go to the right store, you can find Honduran crema, and it actually comes in a tube and you can squeeze it, versus our sour cream you can't. All right, I think we're there. You see it come together, it's cool. And it actually looks like, so let's start with the soup.
The bird of Honduras is the scarlet macaw, which is my mom's favorite bird.
Ooh.
Shout out to my mom.
Okay, let's plate up this soup here. Oh, look at that. Yeah, the celery cooked really well.
Good, I was wondering.
Yeah. Another one of those. All right, let's plate up this Baleadas. So, the way I've seen it done is take some of this refried bean, spread it on just half. Come over here, get some of your queso fresco. Oop. Get some of your crema. And that's the most traditional way it's done. People add avocados to it. Eggs is a big one, chorizo. You can pretty much do anything, but this is the most traditional, so we're gonna do it like that. And then you fold it over, and there you have it.
Boom.
Look at these.
Gorgeous.
When you cook them, they come out and they're like kind of stiff, but once all that moisture kind of combines with all the tortillas get together and they just go, we're gonna get soft on, you know, the love softens them up, and then you just have like, look at that. All right, time has come. This has been a long one, a lot of moving parts, but we made it to the end. It's never felt sweeter.
So good.
We have our soup de Capirotada and our Baleadas. So, let's try the soup first.
It smells so good.
Surprised that the dumplings stayed together.
Me too.
It's giving me Benin, Dahomey fish stew vibes.
Those dumplings are so good. I'd say it's more brothy versus buttery, like
Yeah.
the soup from Benin was.
Yeah.
But these dumplings, which I don't think that's the proper word for them.
I think I've seen them called, I just remembered, like cakes. They call them cakes.
Phenomenal.
I get you some of that Baleadas. Wow, look at that thing. Our sweat and tears, not really tears, our passion went into those. I'd say that's a thing. I mean, before even the taste, I'd say that's an A+. Just the look of it. Very
So
happy.
good. So good.
How's that crema?
The crema's on point. The tortilla, on point. The refried beans, so good. All right, I'm not gonna torture you anymore.
All right. Tomato in there. It's like vegetable soup, obviously, with cornbread in it. But the cheese gives it that flair that you would think if you were in Honduras. Like that cheese sets it apart from
Yes.
like cornbread versus. And I forgot to mention that this is something eaten during Lent. And a lot of people that didn't have the money to afford fish would actually make these patties.
Oh, interesting.
So it's a very cheap meal to make, but very good for you. You know, hearty. That's gonna be on the winter menu.
Oh yeah.
Right, there we go. The time has come.
The time has come.
The Baleadas. Whoa. God, I love refried beans. The crema is so smooth like that. That's how I'm gonna eat sour cream from now on.
Yeah, it's a must.
And the cheese.
The cheese is so good.
I mean, that should be the only type of cheese we have in the fridge.
I'm down with that.
Oh my god.
So good.
Wow. Hold on. Leader in the clubhouse, I'll say it. You're thinking it. Leader in the clubhouse. Probably never buy a regular flour tortilla anymore. We're gonna make them from now on. Quit our jobs. And make flour tortillas.
Open a tortilla stand.
Open a tortilla stand.
Sounds good to me.
Let's do it. Well, the time has come. Honduras checked right off the list. They do food right.
They do it right.
And whoever came up with the Baleadas, whatever story, however that came to be, thank you. But with no time to waste, because next week we'll be right back here with a new country. You know what that means? The raised bucket hat. What will our fate be this week?
Do you have a guess?
Here on Cooking Around the Planet, the show where we cook a recipe from every country until we've done them all. Do I have a guess? I'm gonna go Scotland.
Oh.
Yeah, just I thought of that the other day. Like we're gonna pick that. That's gonna be cool when we pick that because we've been there and we'll, you know.
Gotta get
So
some packets.
maybe it'll happen.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna go Brazil.
Brazil. All right. Wow, so exciting. Pumped.
Trinidad and Tobago.
Ooh, Richard.
Richard!
I used to work with a...
Send us a recipe.
That's awesome, I can't wait. Buddy of mine, Richard, used to work with him back in the day. Awesome dude, he's from Trinidad. So I'm gonna be messaging him and saying, hey, what do we cook? You tell us, you get it right from the source. He was even commenting on our last video, so.
And we did not eat the neck. He asked.
And we didn't eat the neck, he asked us
Of
to
the
eat the neck,
ostrich.
so. Well, we did it. Another one checked off the list. We moved forward and we're gonna go talk to Richard, get a recipe from Trinidad, learn about Trinidad, and we'll be right back here next week with another episode of Cooking Around the Planet. Thanks guys, we'll see you then.
Peace.
What do you think, bud? Is it past your bedtime? It was a late one for us, bud. We didn't make it before 10.